Alright folks, so something that's really wound me up for a very long time, probably since I first heard of the idea whilst I was doing my GCSEs it must have been. Something you're not even going to believe really, but okay. The current year is 2013 AD, right? Or is it 2013 CE? Yeah, it's the Common Era dating system, so beloved by academics. What the fuck? What? You're probably thinking, okay, Brian has gone beyond eccentric now and he's gone off in some kind of fantasy lula land. But it really does wind me up. The Common Era system, for those of you who don't know, basically it's becoming more and more common in all publications. They use it now. So instead of saying BC or AD, they'll say BCE, meaning before Common Era, or CE, meaning Common Era. And the whole idea behind this dating system was basically saying, look, what about people who aren't Christian, Muslims or atheists or whatever? It's not fair, it's not culturally neutral to refer to AD and BC, okay, before Christ, or Anno Domini, meaning in the year of our Lord. But the thing that winds me up is this CE Common Era system is the worst kind of political correctness, because it attempts to resolve an apparent controversy which isn't a controversy by introducing something which doesn't actually help, because the Common Era system is the same as the AD BC system. It just changes it from Anno Domini and before Christ to Common Era before Common Era. So by trying to come up with a neutral system, they're reasserting European supremacy intellectually. Does that make sense? I think. Hope I'm articulating this well. Whilst trying to get away from the supposed European or Christian bias of the AD-BC system, they use the same system under a different name, but proclaim, no, now this is universal, thereby kind of legitimating those very same prejudices of Eurocentric conventions. So it kind of winds me up because it doesn't work, it's idiotic, it's a stupid kind of intellectual game which doesn't actually solve anything. It's the worst kind of political correctness. It gives political correctness a bad name. Personally, I'm a raving atheist. If you subscribe to my channel, you probably know that. I don't really see a problem with the BC AD system. It's just a convention which is useful. I don't understand why we need to change it. It works. We all know what the hell we're talking about. If we say AD BC, it's not an issue. But I thought, if you're going to come up with stupid systems like CE AD, which is CE or BCE, this system, the Common Era system, is Eurocentric, even though it claims to not be. Okay, so what about coming up with some other wacky systems? Something that's been very important in our culture was the founding of Rome. You could argue that Greco-Roman civilization is the origin of our civilization. So we could, Rome was founded 753 BC. We could base our system on the founding of Rome. BR, before Rome, and AR, after Rome, or AFR, after founding of Rome, which would make it now the year 2776 AR. Or what about Alexander the Great? His death, that most of the known world was united into one kind of empire. This spread Hellenistic culture, which was massively influential and could, kind of help found our civilization in a way as well. He died in the year 323 BC, so we could have years before Alexander, BA, and years after Alexander's birth, so AAB. So we're now in the year 2336 AAB. Could work. Another important event, the Persians were taking over Greece, fighting against Greece. Greek civilization essentially is the foundational point of our own civilization and culture. So again, another method we could say is after the Battle of Salamis. This battle was where the Greeks really turned the tide on the Persians, and that was in 480 BC. So we could say we're in the year 2493 AS, after Salamis. Now all of those systems are explicitly based on European culture, just as the Common Era system is, except the Common Era system purports to not be. culturally biased. It purports to be an improvement over the quote culturally biased system of AD BC when it's not. You could also come up with some other fun novel solutions and use the life of the particular individual as being a different era. So for example, Jesus, supposedly the year 1 to 30 AD, we could have BC, which was before him. We could have DC, meaning during Christ, i.e. during his life, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 30. And then since then, we would have AD, meaning after death. And that would mean we're in about the year 1980 something, which would be funny. These are all wacky proposals. I thought a proposal which I quite like, which I think is culturally neutral and is worldwide, but I just want to say again, I don't favour replacing the BC AD system at all. But, you know, if we're going to replace it, I've come up with an idea. How about years of civilization? How long have we had civilization? You know, civilization grew up in various parts of the world, particularly the Indus Valley, the Nile, the Tigris Euphrates, and also in China, around the Yellow River, I think. Around about the same time, the Upper and Lower Egypt were united into one at around about 3100 BC, and writing was supposedly invented apparently in Sumer about 3100 BC, and a bunch of events happened around 3100ish BC. Essentially the kind of real bang starting point of our recorded civilization of writing. So yeah, why not set 3100 BC as the start date of our worldwide, you know, beginning of civilization. But the problem is BC doesn't work because we already use BC, before Christ, so before civilization, after civilization, during civilization. What about pre-civilization? I'm not sure. But anyway, if we start with 3100 BC as our start date, the beginning of civilization, we're currently in the year 5113. And I quite like that system because the beginning of civilization is universal, it's important. I'm not sure which kind of little symbols you'd use, whether you'd say pre-civilization, PC, or you know, world era, WE. I don't know. We could work with that. We're in the year 5113 WE, world era. Anyway, yes, I'm odd. Enjoy. Have fun with those systems, and whatever you do, don't use the Common Era system. Alright, take it easy. Bye.